In our previous lessons, we have used a revision question on modeling linear functions to be able to look at how we can revise on linear equation, where in that question we're able to use different solutions to be able to solve the question. So in one solution, we use the gradient and the equation to be able to solve it. In another solution, we're able to use simultaneous equation to be able to solve it. And we were also able to use graphical solutions to be able to solve the question. My name is Nanaya Wedu, and you can call me Nana. Remember to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so that you can get all videos on time. In this lesson, we want to consider graphical solutions for inequalities that involves two variables. So we want to look at this time the less than, the greater than, the less than or equal to, and the greater than or equal to, and look at how solutions that involve x and y or a and b, which are two variables, can be used in solving such questions. Now let's consider this. So it says that consider the example, right? Show the graphical representation of the linear inequality involving two variables, say 2x minus 3y is less than 4. So in this case, it's not is equal to 4. It's less than 4. So when we see something like this, remember that this is a linear inequality, right? And it involves two variables. So there are steps that you must go through to be able to solve this. So the first step you must do is that first write out the inequality. So we want to write out the inequality. So we've seen that the inequality is 2x, right, minus 3y, and it's less than 4. Now write the inequality out in terms of an equation. So we can write this as 2x, right, minus 3y is equal to 4. Now let's take x to be equal to 0. And then we can be able to find the y value when x is equal to 0. Therefore, we have 2 multiplying 0 minus 3y is equal to 4. So that implies that we are going to have negative 3y is equal to 4. Then we divide both sides by negative 3. We divide this side by negative 3. So that implies that we are going to have our y value to be equal to 4 all over negative 3, right? And then, or we could write the y value as what? Negative 3 all over, negative 4 over 3, right? So as negative 4 all over 3. So that is negative 4 all over 3. So it means that the ordered pair of points can be 0 and then negative 4 over 3. And then we are going to go through the same procedure where we would let y to be equal to 0. And in that case, we are going to have 2x, right, to be equal to 4. We divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 2. And then we get our x to be equal to what? 2. So it means that that ordered pair of points is going to be 2 and then 0. So we are going to plot these points, right, on a linear graph. So we are going to pick our graph, and then we plot our points on this linear graph. So we can use our ruler and then plot our line, right? So we'll have our line. Then we'll plot a line here as well, right? Okay. So in so doing, we should be able to have, on the positive side, we would have 1, we would have 2, we would have 3, and then we will have 4. We can add probably 5 here. And on the negative side, we have negative 1, right? Negative 2, negative 3. And on the positive side here, we have 1, right? We have 2, we have 3. So this is the y side. We can have 4. And on the negative side, we can have negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. So we have the ordered pair of points. The first one is 0, right? So we have 0 on the x-axis, and then negative 4 on 3, right? So negative 4 on 3 would be beyond the 1. So somewhere around this side, right? So somewhere here. Let's use the red for emphasis. So we put it here, right? And then we have 2 and 0. So 2 on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis, that is here, right? So we can draw a line to pass through those 2 points. And once you draw a line to pass through those 2 points, we'll be able to have our line, right? So in this type, we are considering a linear, right, graph, which is 2x minus 3y is equal to 4. But then we want 2x minus 3y, which is less than 4. So what we are going to do is that we want to test values. So we can pick the origin values, right? So we want to test values for the inequality. So we are going to pick 0 and 0, right? And we want to test it to see. So we have the inequality being 2x minus 3y is less than 4. So where our x is 0 and our y is what? 0. So it means that we will have 2 multiplying 0 minus 3 multiplying 0 is less than 4. So it means that we have 0 is less than 4. And this is indeed true, right? 0 is indeed less than 4. So it means that 0 and 0 here falls within the solution to our inequality, right? We can as well also pick something that is on the other side of the inequality, maybe -2 and then 3. So we can pick -2 and 3, right? So where we see x, we put -2 there. So 2 multiplying -2 minus, right, 3 multiplying, I think 3, 4. It's supposed to be rather 3 and then -2. So we see that the 3 is on the x and the -2 is on the y, right? So let's write it well. So over here we are going to have 3 and -2, right? So we have 3 here and then -2 here, right? So you are going to write that inequality such that you are going to have, right, 2, the x value is 3, right, and then minus 3, the y value is -2. So we know that they said it's less than 4. So 2 multiplying 3 will give us 6. Negative gives us positive. 3 times 2 gives us 6. So plus 6 is less than 4. So it means that 12 is less than 4. In this case, we see that it's not true, right? Because 12 cannot be less than 4. So it means that our solutions cannot be on this side. So all we need to do now is to be able to shade the area or the region of our solution. So we'll see that all these regions, right, represents our solution graphically. So we see that all the regions here, which is on the other side, right, represent our solutions graphically. So we shade that region, right? So this is a region for our solution. So with inequality graph, all that we are doing is that we want to test, after drawing the line, we want to test values, right? We test values that are on the other side of the line, test value on the other side of the line, and determine which ones satisfy the inequality. So basically, in this lesson, we have gone through a question where we have been given an inequality 2x minus 3y is less than 4. And we say that to be able to look at the solution to the inequality, first we must change the inequality sign to equality sign, right? Then we'll use the values of x and values of y, probably take x to be 0 and then take y to be 0, and find ordered pair of points and plot them, right? So we get a linear graph. Then we'll be able to test values on the left hand side of the graph and the right hand side of the graph to be able to see which parts of the graph represent the solution to the graph. In our next lesson, we will want to consider another way of probably looking at the test of the inequality of a solution. Remember to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in the next lesson.